everyone, and welcome to a groundwork video. So I am a huge fan of groundwork. I think it is something that helps your horse not only physically but mentally as well, and it just adds a little bit of variety into my training routine, so I will use it a fair amount. I like to balance between ridden and non-ridden work. So with all of that being said, let's get into kind of my overview and debrief with each of the horses. First up, I have Whiskey here, and I'm just starting by just lunging him around, just kind of seeing if he will listen to me as far as his go and his woe, and is he connected enough to me that I can then ask him to change direction and go another way. And I did think throughout the warm-up here he was doing really great. I thought he was actually pretty connected with me, and I was really pleased with it. So from there, instead of just asking him to change direction out in the middle of nowhere with really no marker or anything that he could kind of mentally check in with, I decided to do a little figure eight with him. And he definitely got a little bit sticky on the whole coming into me, and then the going out he was decent with, but he was definitely sticky on the draw part of the exercise. So that is something we are going to need to work on more, is just getting him a little bit more responsive and tuned in to me for when I draw him in, so that then I can change the direction. He does really great sending him out, it's just our in is not always there. And I did notice that, I want to say it was his, when we would go to change to go to the left, was his sticky side. He was really great about changing to the right, but on the left side he got a little bit stickier, so it's definitely an area to work on. Another kind of issue that we had throughout the session was he would just kind of get distracted, and he would start to just, sniff the ground, grab a bite of grass on the way, and just wasn't fully connected the entire time with me. So instead of still drilling in more and more on that drive and draw with the figure eight, I decided to incorporate in some traveling circles with him, just to add a little bit of speed, as well as making him think as we kept moving with the circles instead of just staying in one spot. And I actually thought that did help him quite a bit as far as mentally to connect back with me. So I was really pleased with how he did overall with the traveling circles. But there is definitely, like I said, that draw and that drive definitely needs worked with on him. And as that improves, I think his connection to me will get better, and he won't be partly connected and then be like, oh, there's a piece of grass, I'm gonna go eat that instead. So that was working really good. At the end of the session, I did want to just do a little bit of canter work on the lunge with him, and he did really well with that. Getting into it was a little bit tricky. It did take a little bit of time and a few attempts to get him into it, but in the end, I thought he did really well with his canter, and I was really happy that he didn't go just doing bucking and being kind of frisky with it, because last time when I did this with him, he was definitely very frisky and expressionative with his canter transition. So I was really pleased that he just went into it. When we finally got to it, he just went into it nicely, and it was just nice and smooth and easy. So overall, this was a pretty okay lesson. Definitely some things that need improved on with Whiskey, but it's just a work in progress, and not every day is going to be perfect. So happy with the overall how it went with him. Moving on, I have Rooster next, and I'm just going to start this off by saying I couldn't be more pleased with how this session went with him. Yep, it's absolutely not perfect, but from where Rooster has came from to where he is right now in this session is leaps and bounds. So we had two big struggles throughout the process with him, and he is a young horse, so yes, that is something to take into consideration, is he is a young horse. But one of the issues that he had is maintaining distance away from me, and as you can see as I'm working him, he is about 15 to 20 feet away from me, which is the length of my rope, and he's okay with it. He's calm, he's chill, he's able to maintain the trot as much as he can at times. That's the other issue, is his physical ability to maintain a trot for longer periods, that is a work in progress. But overall, his distance away from me has came leaps and bounds from only being about 10 feet originally. Anything over that, and he used to mentally just kind of lose it. So he's came a long ways in his self-confidence, in essence, of being able to be further away from me and still be okay. You guys are seeing for the first time my change of directions with him. I've actually never done these with him, so this is his first go with them, and I'm really pleased with them. You know, they're not perfect, but it is a first attempt. He didn't have any huge fits with it. He just kind of took a second for him to realize what I was asking, and then he got it. So, and you'll see that, you know, as I do a couple more with him, he gets better and better with them. So really pleased with how that went. The other thing that we worked on with the traveling circles, like I did with Whiskey, was him being able to maintain his trot on a circle a little bit longer. And I just find that those traveling circles really help him because it's not as small of a circle, it's kind of an elongated circle for him. So that helps him have a little bit more straightness along with a little bit of curving, and that just seems to help him a lot more as he is developing his muscles and just maturing. This is something that has helped him. I did not do any canter work with him in this session. That is something that we still have a lot of work to do on, and I felt like where he was at right here during the time I was working with him, I felt like I'd asked for quite a bit out of him, and I didn't want to mentally kind of fry his brain by asking him to do any sort of canter work, because he absolutely does struggle with it. He is by no means strong enough to maintain a canter on a circle. In a straight line, yes, absolutely has no problem with that, but I can't, you know, outrun the horse, so we're not doing straight line canters. He is eventually going to get stronger and stronger and be able to do the canter work on the circle, but it is a goal in the future for us for him to be able to physically do that. So for him where he's at today, this was phenomenal, and this is just stuff that we'll just continue to build on and help strengthen and develop him more. Next is Jack, and you guys will already know all about him from previous videos, but with Jack, I'm just going to try and keep everything just as simple and easy as possible. I want him to stay calm and connected with me, so like if he wants to sniff the cone, I'm going to let him sniff the cone. I just want this to be a very positive learning experience. This is his first time outside of the round pen, so we're just trying to keep it very good, rewarding, and letting him, you know, be able to advance those skills, because you do eventually need to be outside of a round pen. So at times you're going to see him just get a little bit reactive, like right there. You know, I just sat there and I asked him, and I was like, "Hey buddy, can you go?" And he just kind of ignored me, so I asked him a little bit more, and then when it finally asked him on the third time, he was like, "Oh, she was asking me to go." But as you can see, afterwards, he's still calm about it. He's not freaked out or worried or mentally, you know, fried or anything. His head's down, he's relaxed. He's being very responsive. So overall, I was actually pretty pleased with how he responded when I did apply pressure to him. I did try and do a few little simple changes of direction with him. And unlike Rooster, Jack is not near as advanced in other areas of his skill set, so I had to kind of change up my body position and how I would ask him. I was able to kind of get him to draw towards me, and then in order to send him, I would position myself back behind his shoulders in a more driving position, and that did help him kind of get the concept down, and it just broke it down into a really simple step for him to understand. So overall, in general, this session went good. You know, there were a few times it probably could have been better, but I was pretty happy with how it ended, and hopefully we can just keep building on this next time. Alright, the last horse that I worked on this particular day was Melody, and so I just started with just a simple, easy warm-up with her. She knows this stuff really well. She's been being ridden a lot, so this was just a nice little break for her, and she warms up really nice. You'll see sometimes she goes into the trot, and that's just her because she knows the pattern really well, that she wants to please and just to be a little bit more exuberant with her. So I just wanted to do a nice easy warm-up and then do more liberty with her. So after I got her all warmed up, I switched over to doing some Liberty. She wasn't completely connected as well as I needed for her to be out in this big open area to do some Liberty work, so I put a rope around her neck just so that if I felt like she was going to go off, I could just redirect her back to me. And overall it went really well. She stayed very connected. We were able to, do the weave pattern, keep her with me, do some transitions from walk, halt, back up, and she did really great. So overall I was really happy with how this went. So I'm just going to let you guys just watch a few clips, and then I will see you back at the end. You guys enjoyed the video and being able to see the 4 horses I'm currently working with and where they're at as far as their training goes, in particular with this pattern. This is the kind of video that I really like to make because it allows me to look back and see just how far I've come with them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you all next time. Bye!